Back when we didn't stress ourselves with world-ending conflicts and confusing debates over truth and ideals, we had a bunch of thugs who want to make bank and torture a few Pokémon along the way. The first evil team was Team Rocket, a team that has literally nothing to do with space. I don't know why they're called that. A common criticism of Team Rocket grunts are that they are 1. Not very powerful, and 2. Use a lot of the same Pokémon. Team Rocket grunts have almost no Pokémon variety. This is actually consistent with most trainer classes. A fisherman will usually have a Magikarp, a Goldeen, or a Tentacool. A black belt is going to have a Machop or a Mankey, and a Team Rocket grunt will have Coughing, Zubat, or Rattata. The reason this is a problem for Team Rocket grunts and not any other trainer class is that they are the villain, and you often fight many of them in a row. There aren't often 2 Psychic-type trainers back-to-back, so you don't get too tired of fighting Kadabras. But in the Rocket Hideout, every trainer is a Rocket grunt, so the lack of Pokémon variety becomes apparent. In a sea of nameless grunts, there are some who stand out to me as interesting, either because they have good team composition or because of their dialogue and importance to the story. So without further ado, here are the top 10 Team Rocket grunts in Pokémon Fire Red and Leaf Green. Our first entry will be the first Team Rocket grunt. In Mount Moon, there are 2 optional ladder paths that lead to a room with an item prize and a Team Rocket grunt. This Rocket grunt is the first Rocket grunt you may ever fight. This fight is not mandatory, so if you skip this ladder, you won't fight him. His team is actually interesting because it has a Sandshrew. Sandshrew is semi-common on Team Rocket grunt teams, but I'm usually happy to see one because it gives us a different typing than the usual poison type. I enjoy Mount Moon a lot. It's an excellent first dungeon, and these 2 little spots heading to the Rocket grunts are a highlight of exploring it. So in Silphco, there are 4 Rocket grunts that say the line, "I'm one of the 4 Rocket brothers." It's like they wrote dialogue for all the Team Rocket grunts in Silphco and were like, wait, we missed 4! But the game writers were all tired and wanted to go home, so they just placed this one line and copy-pasted it for 4 trainers. The reason this makes the list is that it compels me to try and fight all the Rocket brothers. It's disappointing that not much comes from fighting all 4 Rocket brothers. You'd think you'd get an in-game prize for taking down the notorious Rocket brothers. Even the name Rocket Brothers is capitalized, like other important things in the game. Now, I think the reason that there isn't a prize for defeating them is because they are optional trainers and they disappear after you defeat Silphco. So if they did give you, say, a TM for defeating all of them, you as the player would have no way of getting that TM should you skip them the first time. Regardless, I think there's a little missed potential with these Rocket Brothers. It makes me curious about what their secret lore is. Like, what does their mother think about them all joining Team Rocket? Did one brother join Team Rocket and convince the others? Is there a 5th Rocket brother out there who left it all behind and wants to see Team Rocket fall, but knows not to rock the boat should Giovanni harm his other brothers, who, while he's mad at them, doesn't want to see them hurt? What happened to you, Rocket Brothers? In the Rocket Game Corner in Celadon City, there's a Team Rocket grunt standing next to this poster. This is the entrance to the secret Rocket hideout. The button is hidden behind the poster, and after you fight this guy, you can head down into the hideout. Like, my dude. Telling me you're guarding the poster just screams secret button. If you just left the poster up unguarded, no one would touch it. Who walks into a casino and starts smacking posters? If you need extra insurance, just put up a sign saying, "Don't touch the posters or you'll have to pay to replace them." You don't need a whole guy to fight anyone who gets near it. And some team this guy has. Raticate and Zubat? Seriously? This guy is your soldier standing between meddling 10-year-olds and your entire criminal organization? And then when he's defeated, he just walks away. If there was an opposite of the Employee of the Month award for being bad at your job, this Rocket grunt would take home the prize after this blunder. Are you enjoying the Game Cubicle? Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. This Team Rocket grunt located in Silphco says, "You dare betray Team Rocket?" And when you beat him, he calls you a traitor. This guy doesn't understand what words mean. This must have been a localization error or something, because you aren't really a traitor because you never worked for Team Rocket in the first place. This guy makes the list for his unwavering loyalty to Giovanni. Anyone who isn't Team Rocket is a traitor. That's the kind of insanity and cognitive dissonance that makes for a great criminal. His team consists of Zubat, and, wait for it, Golbat. Yeah, not super exciting. So number 6 is the door grunts. This one is cheating a bit because it's 2 grunts, not 1. These grunts are door guards and serve as the last bastion before Giovanni and the rocket hideout. What is on the team of Giovanni's finest soldiers? Their teams are inverses of each other. One has Ekans, Arbok, and Sandshrew, while the other has Sandshrew, Sandslash, and Ekans. These 2 Pokemon are version counterparts to each other, so I bet these 2 guys had to trade with each other in order to build their teams. My favorite of the 2 is this one, the Arbok one, mostly because his dialogue is hilarious. Why can't you see the beauty in our evil? I love villains who are just like, yeah, I'm evil. Like, so many of these evil teams will be like, we have a just cause. You probably just don't agree with our methods, blah, blah, blah. And then there's this Chad being honest about loving crimes. The Nugget Bridge Rocket Grunt has a unique attribute to him, as he's the only Rocket Grunt in any game to not be wearing the uniform in his overworld sprite. He's still wearing the uniform in the battle, so I always saw it as he threw off his clothes to reveal the rocket clothes underneath. Must be hot under there. His team is Ekans and Zubat. Yeah, nothing special about him. I think it was a real missed opportunity to not give this guy Meowth, since Meowth likes shiny things, and this is the guy who gives you a gold nugget. Now this Rocket Grunt isn't special because of his team, he's special because of his role in the game. The most notable thing about this Team Rocket Grunt is that he actually offers for you to join Team Rocket. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to say yes and do an evil playthrough. Doesn't matter that he has a generic team, because really, this Grunt is such a surprise battle, you'll be at least a little on edge fighting him if you weren't expecting it. See, you just took on Nugget Bridge. Each trainer has 1 fewer Pokemon than the last, which puts you in more of a state of ease. When you get to the end, you will probably think, may as well get my prize before I get to the Pokemon Center, and then whoa, this jabroni comes out of nowhere with his Ekans and Zubat to try and take you down? Of course, I've played this game over 30 times since I was 8 years old, so this hasn't been a surprise for me in a long time. Man, Team Rocket really has incompetent employees. So this is a mandatory trainer in the Team Rocket hideout who gifts the player with the lift key. Apparently, this guy is so distraught after losing a Pokémon battle that he drops the lift key that he, I guess, was holding in his hand or something. Seems like the kind of thing you'd want to keep in your pocket. He also announces, "Oh no, I dropped the lift key," as he drops it, which it seems in the amount of time you make that statement, one would just be able to pick up what you dropped. His team consists of Coughing and Zubat. For a mandatory trainer, his selection is pretty bland. There's also a glitch in the original Pokemon Red and Blue, where if you fight this guy while standing to the right of him, he will drop the key right under you. It's an inconsequential glitch, you can just walk right off of it. You won't get stuck. Man, this guy is so bad at his job, he glitches the game. Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green actually made a sprite for a female Team Rocket Grunt. For some reason, it is only used in the post-game. None of the main story Team Rocket Grunts are replaced with the female ones. It's still a boys' club in Kanto, I guess. Not sure if they just decided late in development to design these lady grunts and they just didn't have time to go back and sprinkle in a few for the main story, or if they just wanted to keep things the same as the original. This particular Team Rocket Grunt makes the list because she is the only Team Rocket Grunt to use Generation 2 Pokemon. And no, don't come at me in the comments about the 2 Team Rocket admins in the Rocket Warehouse who also use Generation 2 Pokemon. They may use the generic sprites, but they are listed as admins. These are boss battles, not regular grunts. This is just a list of the best Team Rocket grunts. So please don't try to correct me in the comments. On second thought, correct me in the comments anyway, because then someone will come correct you, and that's 2 comments on my video, which will boost me in the algorithm. This Team Rocket grunt uses 2 Houndours. Any sort of variety is welcome with the legion of Zubats and Grimers that Team Rocket uses. And using Pokemon from the new generation, it's getting some love in the post-game, that's a plus in my book. While she gets points off for using 2 of the same Pokemon, boring, we don't see much of the Fire type on Team Rocket teams, and we definitely don't see much of the Dark type because there weren't even any Dark type Gen 1 Pokemon. It's too bad that the Team Rocket post-game side quest is so small and only consists of a few grunts, 2 admins, and the final scientist fight. The Sevi Islands are such a great part of Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, but you can tell the content is a little stunted, probably due to time restraints. So when Team Rocket takes over Silphco, there are a few non-Team Rocket trainers that can be fought in the building. These trainers are scientists associated with Team Rocket. Makes sense lore-wise. With all the dastardly experiments Team Rocket does on Pokemon, you'd expect that there are some qualified mad scientists doing some dirty work for them. There is one trainer who fights you in Silphco that is just out of place. This one guy, Juggler Dalton, just decides to fight you. Seems strange to have a battle with a random trainer. Who is he? Did he just wander in off the street looking for a Pokemon Pokemon battle? If you talk to this guy after battling him, he actually refers to Giovanni as his boss, confirming that he is in fact a part of Team Rocket. It's strange, if Giovanni is his boss, then why is he not dressed like a grunt? Did they run out of uniforms? I think that maybe this guy's juggling skills amuse Giovanni, so he was appointed the jester of Team Rocket. Because of this, he keeps his regular juggler outfit instead of donning Team Rocket attire. His team consists of Kadabra and Mr. Mime. No other Team Rocket grunt or any Team Rocket scientist uses these Pokemon. At first glance, you'd think that this was maybe a coding error in putting in the wrong trainer, but considering his team choice, I think it was intentional. Even though he isn't dressed as a Team Rocket grunt, does he still count as one? It's not like he's an admin or a boss. He's just one of the many trainers that you can go through in Silph.co. And of those trainers, he's definitely the one I like the most. The number 1 spot on this list goes to the first Team Rocket grunt who we actually see commit a crime. Number 1 goes to the Cerulean City Dig TM Thief. Before this point, Team Rocket have only been seen in Mount Moon and the Nugget Bridge guy, but here we see them being actual criminals. Another point in this guy's favor is his unique team composition. Well, unique by Rocket Grunt standards. He has a Machop and a Drowsy. No Rattatas, no poison types, a breath of fresh air. While he gets the number 1 spot as a Team Rocket grunt, he's definitely not winning any awards for his crimes. Just look at what this guy does. Breaks into a house, destroys everything, busts a hole in the back to escape, and then he stands in the backyard for at least as long as it takes for you to get through Nugget Bridge and go to Bill's house. But I guess for every incompetent criminal, there's an equally incompetent cop. This cop stands in front of the door, not noticing this guy is literally in the backyard, and then eventually just feels like letting a 10-year-old into the crime scene. That 10-year-old then finds the criminal, apprehends him, retrieves the stolen merchandise, and then lets him get away. Then, once that 10-year-old gets back the stolen merchandise, he doesn't even give it back to the victims of the crime. I thought you were supposed to be the hero of this game. This Rocket Grunt's whole deal is so absurd, I love it. It's a great example of how the need for game progression can sometimes just destroy world building and storytelling by creating absurd things like this. Even though this guy is an awful criminal, he's a great Team Rocket Grunt. And that's my list. What do you think of Team Rocket? Are there any grunts you wish I included? Do you think Team Rocket don't use enough Pokemon? Who's your favorite evil team? Let me know in the comments below. If you like what I do and want to see me do more of it, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps with the algorithm recommending my content. Also, head on over to Game Cubicle Live to see highlights of my live streams. And if you're feeling particularly moved by what I've crafted for you today, consider subscribing to my Patreon for as low as $1 a month. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.